Good morning. True Living Water Ministries back at it again with another marriage enrichment. Today's topic I want to talk about, because we've been there before. Matter of fact, maybe a few times, maybe a few dozen times. 25 years of marriage. How to strategize when you just don't seem to be in sync, right? You're having petty arguments, you're having just not seeing eye to eye, whether it's the workplace, whether it's the kids, whether the family dynamics just becomes overwhelming and stressful. Maybe bills are piling up, maybe you're not seeming to, maybe one of you feels burdened, overworked, so where to go from there? You know what I'm saying? And I know if I speak on experience, what we've always done, because, we talked before that our relationship was founded on communication, conversation, right? Give you all a little bit of brief backstory. When I met my wife, we talked for a full year on the phone, just talking before we actually had our first official date. And even our first official date, it wasn't really a date. We just went out to eat. So, but it was just as friends, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of transferred from that. So we learned kind of how to set the tone in conversation. So I guess from experience, what we've done, we've always sat down, went to the drawing board, whether we went on a walk, went to the store, and we started talking. We end up in our talk, we kind of find, for me, I found out what I wasn't doing, what I could have been doing better. Okay, I wasn't giving attention to that. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, this is some self-examination. And that was kind of like the catalyst for us to get things back on track. You know what I'm saying? Praying together, worshiping together, and things of that nature. And that's one of the, I guess the best strategy I can say is you gotta come to the table. You gotta come to the table. Because I believe this, and you can speak to this, but I believe this wholeheartedly. I think when things get off track, number one, I would really examine that one of us or both of us is being selfish.
Yeah, I want to, let me just...
One of us or both of us are being selfish. Yeah.
It could be with your feelings, withholding your feelings.
Yeah, that too.
Vulnerability is being selfish because you don't give your partner permission to try and help you.
You've talked about that.
Yeah.
You can't get mad because you have not spoken it to your partner, and now it's a blow up. Yeah, because the build up.
Yeah, we have to get out of the frame of mind. She should know or he should know. You have to get out of that frame of mind. Mm-hmm. So that's why communication is so very important. You have to communicate. You have to be transparent with one another. You have to be vulnerable with one another. And vulnerability allows you to have that safe space to be able to speak and what's going on with you. So you owe each other that.
Absolutely.
You're living this life together. You're doing all these things in life together. You should have common goals together. So you owe each other that to make sure that you both have the best of them.
Absolutely. One of the main responsibilities when you're married is I have hand selected you and you have hand selected me to like fill voids, if I'm saying it right, to whether that be sexually, whether that be romantically, whether that be support, you know what I'm saying, whether that be comfort, whether that be a person to rely on and trust, to be there for them, right? Even for just fun, just, you know what I'm saying, just having a good time. You rely on that other person, so to speak, because you have your individuality, but you also have the relationship aspect. Remember on a video, I think one of the marriage enrichment, we talked about getting back to your relationship and really investing in the relationship aspect.
Being intentional.
Because we are partners in so many different lanes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whether we're grandkids, parents, business partners, right? Ministry together in that, and all those things that we have to work together on. And sometimes we'll be doing those lanes, and it will kind of not give intentionalism to our relationship. To Lavelle and Shanita. Exactly.
But I want to go back really quick.
Let's go.
You said in filling a void. I really want you guys to hear what we're saying, because we're not saying fill the void, like filling the person up. When we say that, we mean bringing some peace and clarity, helping bring that together for each other in our life. You know what I mean? You have to be whole within yourself, but at the same time, why would you want to walk with somebody that's not helping you bring things back to perspective? And that's what your partner is there for. You're gonna have your off days. Everybody does. You're gonna have them days where, like you said, you're off, you're not feeling it, your vibe is off, everything's off. That truly knows you, they know how to bring it back to perspective for you and kind of get you back in that realm of, you know, a good space. So that's why it's important to have a partner who is, when we like to say, willing to help fill that void.
I like that. Because sometimes we don't sit back and say, you know, I need this from you. I need that from you. Sometimes it's good to remind your spouse, listen, I need a little more of this. I need a little more of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm running on E when it comes to that.
That also goes back, because I will say one thing that, you know, we're not perfect, and we've grown to get to where we're at right now. Like we've done a lot of growing and a lot of self-growing together individually, all these things. But one thing I definitely appreciate is when you said we have always come to the table with one another and said, just because you can doesn't mean you should carry the load by yourself in anything. You know, so what can I take off your plate? Even if, you know, I don't know, I guess I can go to roles. You know, my husband worked 2 jobs. You know, I was at home with the kids. Even in that aspect, he would come home and still be like, oh, I can do this or I can do that. So just looking to help one another, you know what I mean? You don't, like, again, just because you can don't mean you should, because we're trying to keep each other from having that burnout so that we can be, you know, whole and there for one another together.
Yeah, it kind of goes when it talks about, you know, when we went to the altar when we were married, it said, you know, in sickness and in health, you know what I'm saying? And I remember that, and we can kind of speak briefly on that. Given the condition that you had when you was pregnant with Arlenique, what was the condition? What was it called?
I had placenta previa.
That's right. So long story short, we were living on the east side. For a lot of y'all know, in Washington, that's, you know, a very expensive area to live in, and during that time, it was tough because she could not work. She was physically unable to. So I had to work at 3 jobs. And I think I was working at Tony Romo's. I was working at Safeway. So I had to work those 3 jobs. Sleep was, sometimes I didn't even go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But what she could do is she could maneuver a little bit. She would make a lunch. She would come pick me up, drop me off at the other job, and stuff like that. And, you know, she would, you know, do what she can around the apartment, as long as she felt good and make sure she paced herself. But at the same time, we understand that we were in this together. So whatever sacrifice I had to make, And she was very comforting during that time, trying to make sure she was doing everything she could to make it lighter. But it's still at the same time, even though I was making that huge, doing what I was doing, right? I still wanted to come and help out at the house. Whether it be an off day or a day that only had 1 job, I still wanted to do, because I didn't want her to be overbearing. Because I knew in her mind, she was like, oh my God, I'm not helping. And during the time, you know what I'm saying, I had some different things that was going on with me financially, because I had other kids and I had garnishments and things of that nature. That's why I had to work so many jobs to help make up for that. You know what I'm saying? But even though she's, you know, we still wanted to make sure that we were both okay.
Yeah, and I think okay both ways. Like you said, like, you know, making sure I was okay. Yes, financially and those things were great, but even like emotional, I just remember you making sure that somebody was always with me. You know, you call my parents, one of y'all going to get her, or when your brother came.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Making sure somebody was always with me, because I really wasn't allowed to be by myself. Yeah. That's how, you know, how bad it was for me when I was pregnant. So, you know, just being attentive to one another. And, you know, when you're attentive, sometimes the person doesn't have to speak the need. You can see the need.
So you got to really watch and observe your partner and pick up the signs and the signals. All right, this is it for another episode of Marriage Enrichment. Counseling is available, so go ahead and reach out to us.